Hi, everybody. Please give us a few moments to make sure all families have been able to log in, and we'll get started momentarily. Hi, everybody. Just give us a few more moments to make sure all families have been able to log in, and then we'll get started. Hi, everybody. Please give us a few more moments to make sure that everybody's been able to log in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. My name is Ronaldo Lunagakid, and I want to welcome you to the second webinar in the 2022 Fall Family Webinar Series. I am the Associate Director of Student Transitions and Family Programs, and tonight I'm joined by my colleagues, Dr. Jay Sriram, Director of the Learning Center, and Dr. Robert Patterson, Director of the Writing Center and Speaking Studio. We are so excited that you've chosen to join us for tonight's conversation. Some information before we get started. First, we want to make sure you know how to submit questions during this webinar. You'll notice that we've given you the ability to ask questions via the Q&A feature. Our professional staff within Student Transitions and Family Programs are helping to field these questions. To make sure you know how to use the Q&A feature, please share the place that you're watching from, and we'll name a few of them on air live. While you do that, we will be showing a PowerPoint created by our panelists during tonight's webinar. However, if you prefer to download this PowerPoint and follow along on your own, please use the link that we just shared in the chat. As a note, in the chat feature, we will be sharing links and email addresses for the duration of the webinar. Third, this webinar is being recorded live. Next week, it will be uploaded to the families.woostl.edu website. In just a moment, we will hear from our panelists about academic support resources on campus. And if anything they say sparks a question, don't forget to send it to us using the Q&A feature. After their presentation, we will move on to the question and answer portion of the evening. Before passing things along, I want to share some of the places that folks are joining us from tonight. We have families tuning in from Phoenix, Arizona, Mountain View, California, Miami, Florida, and many other locations. Now, since I know you all want to hear more about academic support on campus, I will first turn it over to Dr. Sriram.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. So glad you're able to join us today. I'm Jay Sriram. I'm the director of the Learning Center. I've been at WashU in this at the Learning Center for 6 years now. And our center, it's a small but mighty team with about 300 student employees. And I'm ready to dive in right away. So first, I'll start with the different programs we provide for students. Peer-led team learning is a structured student support program, and it's offered for the courses that you see up on the screen: physics, both introductory courses, chemistry, and calculus. And registration for this program begins at the beginning of the semester and stays open for a week, and students enroll. And it's about it happens for 11 weeks. And if students attend 8 out of 11 sessions, they get 1 credit. They can choose to enroll in the program for a credit or not. It's optional. But attendance is mandatory once they enroll in the program. Currently, it's not open for enrollment, but keep in mind that for the spring semester, for these courses, enrollment will be open first week of classes, and it closes on Friday, and we take about a few days to put students in groups. And remember that all of these programs that I'm mentioning, except the coaching program, is led by peer leaders and mentors. We hire upper class students, train them, and put them in groups with first and second year students. And the second type of programming is a drop-in course support. So it's complementary to the peer-led team learning program. It is unstructured, so anywhere between 2 to 3 hours per week for a variety of courses. Sometimes students think, hey, I don't have a question. I don't want to go in, I don't want to, I don't know what questions to ask, where to start. So they say they don't go in, but we truly encourage that if they don't have any questions, that's fine too. It's a great opportunity to sit down and listen in on what other students are asking. It's an informal environment. Even if they don't want to listen in on the others, it's a great opportunity to block their calendars off during that time so they can go in and do their homework and take their friends. And many of these sessions happen in the residential colleges, so they could just drop in their pajamas. And some of them are around Danforth campus. All of those sessions are after 8 p.m. So really they could go in their pajamas anywhere. And no appointment necessary. And it's a great opportunity for them to talk to the peer mentors who have taken the courses just a year or two ago, knows the instructor, knows their testing style, knows their teaching style, and knows, what part of the lecture is really important. What should I take notes on? Do I need to study 400 pages from the textbook? And what's important? How do I take notes? So it's not just course specific, although these are course related support. The questions does not need to be related to the course. It can be anything related to adjusting to college. And students could find this information on Canvas, like course Canvas pages under resources. The session timing, schedule, where it's located, who's leading the session, all of that information. They can also find this on our website. We've got a mentoring calendar up on our website, and students could look at it. It's all updated. We have a set list of courses, but it's not said and done. If students need particular support in a specific course that we do not have resources for, please email us, have the students email us, and we will coordinate with the instructors and the departments, and we'll set something up for the students. The last type of programming is academic skills coaching. In the past few years, we have realized that many students actually need support transitioning into college with some of those major skills, like, time budgeting, work-life balance. When they have, mid-semester exams coming up, they've got like 4 papers due and like 2 exams coming up. How do they prioritize? They get so overwhelmed and they lose sight of what's important. So we really help them with, at the beginning of the semester, we really help them with, let's look at your organization style. Let's fix up your calendar, what works for you. So really take them through a journey of reflection and figure out what type of organization style works for them. And we actually do it this time of the year too. Any time is great to do time management work. And also we work with students on discipline-specific study strategies as well. And we now offer workshops led by peer coaches. We had one last week and it is recorded. It's up on our website. And we have 4 more peer coaching workshops that are coming up. When Rob's speaking, I can post a link in the chat about those peer coaching workshops. And we also, professional staff, we are a team of 3 professional staff, but we also take student appointments and figure out what it is students need. And then if they need ongoing support, we have peer coaching appointments as well. Yeah. And this is a larger academic support ecosystem. And Rob and I always emphasize that there's so much of academic support available for students outside of our programs as well. And you could take a look at the slide over here. You could see professors are an important point of contact. They have office hours. And I know students, when they have an exam, if they have conflicting schedule, they can't go to professors' office hours, that's fine. But sometimes they are too shy or scared to use the professors. But I would really, we encourage students to talk to the professors because they are they know the courses really well, and they're also really nice. They really look forward to sharing their knowledge with our students, and yeah, looking forward to the opportunity to interact with the students. And there are other types of support too. There's many of the departments also offer help desk. They offer tutoring, at least they have tutors list up on their website. And they can also talk to their advisors. And advisors are another line of support as well, especially the registration times coming up, right? The next 3 weeks. So now is a good time to encourage students to talk to their advisors about what courses they want to take. And also TAs and AIs in their own departments and courses. So yeah, there's a lot of support available at WashU, and students can like shop around what resources are most useful for them. And yeah, and study groups, of course. And you all are definitely a good resource for the students, and you know your students well. And one way you could help your students is ask questions, right? First, listen and release pressure, especially this time of the year when they have exams and papers coming up, and release the pressure, but also ask questions and help them through the reflective journey. First year is all about learning themselves. Ask them about how much time they are spending on their work outside of class. We suggest that for every hour of class they are in, they need to spend an hour outside the class. When we say that to the students, they're like, what? It's so mind-blowing to them that yes, every hour of class you need to spend an hour outside the class. It also depends on the class, right, and the weightage, and how challenging they find the course. But to start with, an hour outside class is really good. And where are they studying? When are they studying? And how are they studying? Are they really reading through the information, or are they actually interacting with the material? So those are all some good questions to ask. When are they studying? Are they really planning to study in the morning, planning to study in the evening? How are they keeping up with that? Definitely, how are they managing their time? Yeah, and how are they doing their homework? Are they doing it the day before it's due, the night it's due, or are they really scaffolding it and using it as a way to learn the material or testing their own understanding of the material? And how are they taking notes? These are all some questions to ask. One important thing that we've been asking students to do, especially as we are emerging out of the pandemic, is they're testing their foundational knowledge, right? We've all gone through virtual classes, and are there any gaps in the foundational knowledge that they come in with, right? So they have only limited time outside class. So if they have large foundational gap, there's only so much time they have to put into the coursework, right? So reevaluating if this is the right class for them by talking with, this is when, talking with their advisor and their course instructor and professor is a good strategy, right, at this point. And also, what resources are they using and how are they using it? Sometimes you can overutilize resources and not have time to interact with the material one-on-one. Yes, all of this group environment is great, but also time with yourself and the material and thinking about the material is also really important. All right, this is me, Jay Sriram. You can reach me. You can email us at learningcenter@worcester.edu. You could go to our website, explore, find the links that I was talking about.
Thank you, Jay. I want to emphasize something Dr. Sriram said, is that these are not the only resources available. And because there are many resources in many different forms, it can be a bit much for anyone to remember where to go for what. All it takes is asking one of the resources. So I'm about to talk about the Writing Center. We have had students walk into the Writing Center saying, I'm looking for math help. And we get them connected with that math help. Sometimes they talk to their advisors, sometimes, so it's just a matter of just talking to someone. And, that's a way to kind of unlock, where do I go? Is there something available? Sometimes it's a conversation about, let me learn more about what you're looking for. And that way I can direct you to the right place. So oftentimes students just kind of lock up and don't ask because they're like, I don't even know where to go. So this is where you can all be helpful and say, just ask someone. whether it's the closest office to one of your classes or your advisor or whomever it is. So I'm Rob Patterson. I'm the director of the Writing Center and the Speaking Studio. I've been with WashU for 25 years. And when anyone hears about what I want to do, what I do, they think that I want to talk about one of two things. One, they think I want to talk about grammar. I don't want to talk about grammar. Or they get into a conversation about how, oh, students these days, they just can't write. And I kind of take offense to that, because actually we work with a lot of writers. We work with writers from across the divisions, all levels. And you know, we see amazing writing, and we have these great interactions with writers who are working on so many different things, so many interesting things. It's a really energizing kind of work that we do. So as I said, we work with all writers, those who consider themselves strong writers, those who don't consider themselves strong writers, and any form of writing. So it can be for courses, it can be a senior thesis, it can be an application to law school, grad school, a job, a summer internship application. Sometimes we've also helped students write emails to you, you know, asking for money or explaining a situation or whatever it may be. And when we're working on those kinds of writing, we're not just working on grammar. In fact, that's usually the last thing we're working on. We're working on, of course, helping someone figure out their ideas and find the best way to communicate those for that given assignment, that given audience. But along the way, we're working on their confidence in themselves, not only as writers, but as students, in their resilience and their critical thinking and their self-awareness as scholars, writers, and human beings. So there's a lot that goes into this. So moving on, how do we actually do that? We do it one-on-one. This is a very different kind of experience for most students, because a lot of times they've learned writing in classroom settings. And if they did meet with one-on-one with their teacher, that's still their teacher. And that's the person grading them and evaluating them. So we work one-on-one, and it allows us to build a personal connection, to give personal attention, not only to that student, but the work that they're actually doing, the words they have written. And along the way, we're respecting them as students, we're respecting them as writers and scholars. So we go in with the assumption of you're capable and you actually have what it takes to do this. We go in with the assumption of you actually know what you're trying to say. It's just we're trying to find a way to get that on paper in a more effective way. So we're acting as a coach and an ally. We're not there grading them. We're not there judging them. And honestly, for my entire staff, which is a mix of undergraduates, graduates, and professional staff, when hiring, I look for someone who knows what it's like to struggle. It's not the person who just says, oh, it just comes naturally to me. To me, that person can't possibly coach someone who's struggling. And along the way, we're engaging writers and their ideas. So we're not just fixing and line editing and so on, but we see these as scholars and writers in the process of developing their ideas. So that means we're having conversations, asking questions, taking notes, and then helping them try to find the best way to communicate those ideas. And that's not by saying this is the best way, but instead talking about what's effective in certain situations, what's more effective, what's less effective, and so on. So we're focusing on the long game. We're helping with that piece of paper right there in front of us, but we're also basically trying to get them to become better writers along the way. And we also have the advantage that we might be working with a student in a couple of their classes in their first semester, one in their second, one in their third, and then a couple in their senior year. So we have these long-term relationships across many different courses, and engaging with the Writing Center, engaging with the Learning Center early on means building their network of support so that they know who they can go to whenever they want to. So some of the nuts and bolts, we work both online and in person. So we have an online scheduling system. We work a lot by appointment. We do take walk-ins, but appointments are preferred. And students can choose online or in person. This has been the case long before COVID, but we've really bumped this up quite a bit so that we don't even care if they're one floor up from us in the same building. If online means they're going to use this resource, that's fine. We serve all levels and divisions. So that can be a first-year undergraduate. It can be a senior applying for law school. We work with postdocs. We work with dissertation writing, PhD students. And these are 1 hour one-on-one sessions. As I said, we're primarily by appointment. We're open days, weekends, evenings. There's rarely a time when we're not open. We are a mix of professional, graduate, and undergraduate tutors. That means students can work with whoever they feel comfortable with. Sometimes they feel comfortable starting with a peer. Sometimes they'll move to a graduate fellow, and then, you know, professional tutors. As Jay said, sometimes students are reluctant to go to their professors. I hope to see all of these like entry points as ways into getting more used to seeing help as normal, using resources as a normalized thing. And we want to see ourselves as also a stepping stone to, hey, look, why don't you also go talk to your professor about this thing? You know, they actually get excited when an 18, 19, 20-year-old is interested in that thing they've devoted their lives to. And honestly, there may be only a dozen people in the whole country who are into this thing. So if someone just comes just interested, let alone having questions, they're going to love that. And as I mentioned before, we'll work on any kind of writing, but a really important thing is any stage of the writing process. We'll get lots of phone calls from students saying, I need to cancel my appointment for this afternoon because I don't have any writing done. And that's when we say, whoa, hold on. We can help you get started. We can do brainstorming. We can help you put a plan together, and you can leave that appointment with some momentum and some kind of way forward. I recommend that if someone has a paper due, they make an appointment for about a week before to help get started, and then a couple of days before to look over that draft. So as family members, what can you do? If they tell you they're working on a paper, ask if they're using the Writing Center, right? Same thing if they're working on some kind of application material, because sometimes that's not the first thing that comes to their mind, but we've seen all of it, and we can absolutely be helpful. Plus, you know, if you want them to kind of make sure they have an internship for the summer or a job after they graduate, like, we're here to help you to get them, you know, to the next stage of their process. If they tell you I've tried, or I've heard the schedule is always full, yes, our schedule does tend to fill up, but it has a waitlist function, which will text students whenever there are new openings due to cancellations. When someone no-shows, which I hate, it's actually an opportunity for other students because we'll call the waitlist and see if someone can work with us at that point. We also have a few staff members who are adding more appointments to the schedule as we go. So it's always worth trying by logging in and taking a look, but also adding themselves to the waitlist. And if someone is really having trouble in terms of getting in, have them contact us. It's just writing@wustl.edu, and we can, you know, help give them some tips on how to get an appointment. Honestly, it's also worth walking in. As I said, we have no-shows. So I tell students all the time, look, just come in a little after the top of the hour, and if someone's not here by 10 after, we'll give you their appointment. And that way I'm happy that time gets used, and then we can serve someone that was looking for an appointment. If they tell you they're strong writers and they don't need help, you know, obviously everyone can always improve, but all writers use others in their process. They're writing for other human beings. They should involve human beings in their process. And look, my son is in 6th grade. He's in middle school now. And he said, oh, you know, I don't need to work on writing. I'm a great writer. I'm like, yes, you are a great 5th grade writer. Do you still want to be a great 5th grade writer when you start high school? My answer to any undergraduate is, do you still want to be that great high school writer when you graduate college? No, of course not. So this is an opportunity to continue to push themselves to excel and to actually have some people in their corner. And if they don't feel comfortable sharing their work, look, I get it. We feel vulnerable, especially a work in progress somehow. And I'm sorry, Jay, but this is different than math and chemistry, right? It's somehow with writing, it goes to our core when someone is criticizing us, as opposed to, okay, you couldn't solve that equation. Maybe it's because I'm more of a humanities person. I didn't ever really care if I solved that equation, but this is a judgment-free zone. And I know the Learning Center is a judgment-free zone. We're not grading them. And actually, I think we think more highly of someone who says, I don't know, I need help. Because in a way, when we help them, we're preparing them to help the next person when the next person comes along and needs help. So our Writing Center's website is very simple, writingcenter.wustl.edu. That's where students can go to make appointments, take a look at our schedule. We're located in Mallinckrodt Center, right next door to the Learning Center. And you know, we look forward to serving your students And if you can just help us by reminding them of our existence and just urging them to try things out, you know, the students who really succeed are the ones, and really the people who succeed in life are the ones who make use of all the resources available to them. There are very few people who made it big in life all on their own. There's probably no one. So that whole like lone wolf mentality just isn't going, it's going to stop working at some point for students who maybe did largely do it on their own up until this point. So let's get them used to that now so that later in life, they're also making use of the resources available to them.
Thank you, both of you, so much. I have some initial questions that I know many family members may be wondering. Dr. Patterson, my first one is actually for you. So does the Writing Center and Speaking Studio only offer one-on-one sessions, or are there group sessions available as well?
So if anyone's doing a group paper, they can absolutely make use of the Writing Center. Just one person makes an appointment and then lets us know by emailing us, hey, it's actually going to be a group. We do want the whole group coming, because when we ask, hey, what's going on in this section? And then they're like, oh, that was Jill and she's not here. That makes it a little difficult. But absolutely, we do work on group papers. Group projects, by the way, are not loved by WashU students, because I think every WashU student in high school had the experience of being the one who did all the work for the group that wasn't doing all the work. I like to reassure them, like now you're in a school where everyone around you pulled the group along, and now, you know, everyone else will actually help you. So,
Dr. Sriram, what are the open hours for the Learning Center, and what times of days and week are services offered?
Absolutely. Since most of our services are provided by student mentors, you know, it depends on their schedule, but they are all up. I think I posted the link in the chat, especially for course-specific mentoring hours and also for peer coaching hours. But our office is open from Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Thank you so much. We'll now move on to the remainder of our question and answer portion of this webinar. As a reminder, folks, please submit your questions via the Q&A feature that can be found at the bottom of the screen. A first question that we have: if a student did not enroll in PLTL at the beginning of the semester, are they still allowed to later? And then can they access materials without receiving course credit?
Yes, they can certainly access material without getting course credit. Second, we have allowed students to, it depends on what academic department, like, you know, we administer the programs, but the coordinators in the academic departments actually train the peer leaders and oversee the students in the program. So it's different with different courses. But ideally, if students are enrolled in the first 2 weeks of the program, they get the most out of it.
This is for both of you. Are all WashU academic support services, including tutoring, including utilizing the Writing Center and Speaking Studio, are they free, or do students have to pay for them?
you've already paid for it. I don't like saying they're free, because then it's, you know, free. But when you tell someone you've already paid for it, it's like, okay, I need to get the most out of it.
Can students request help from specific people within the Writing Center if they found someone they really like going to or really like working with?
Absolutely. Students get to choose who they're working with because they're making their own appointments. Now, of course, it depends on the tutor's availability, but I always encourage them, work with different people, get to know who you like to work with, and then you can make regular appointments as often as you like.
How do students receive any information or direct reach out if they do from both of your areas? So how do students hear about some of these opportunities?
Go ahead, Jay.
Okay. You were unmuted, so I thought. So they don't directly get messages from us. We connect with the course instructors because our programs are most of them are embedded in the course, and they post it on their syllabi. The links are posted on their syllabi. They are posted on the course Canvas page, resources page. And we also send all of this information to four-year advisors, and four-year advisors send this information to the students. And we connect with all of the student groups on campus, like the NAB Stars, Trio, other scholars program, Office of International Students and Scholars program. So we send our information to the advisors and other student groups, and then they send it to the students, and they also hear it from their instructors. We go into classes to advertise first week, and also right before midterms.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Every avenue possible, we're using it. And we've also started emailing every faculty member teaching a course to say, look, here's some information, please pass it on to your students. Just today, I emailed every professor teaching a course this semester to announce that starting next Tuesday, every Tuesday afternoon for the rest of the semester, the Writing Center will have walk-in hours for undergraduates. And I mean, within minutes, professors were forwarding it to their students and copying me on those emails. So I know that's pretty effective. And when, you know, at certain times, we've also directly emailed students who are enrolled in, say, college writing, like everyone currently enrolled in Intro to Modern Art, because it has a lot of papers and so on.
We have a family member who's written, my child was a very high achieving student in high school, but they are struggling academically here at WashU. Is this typical? And what is the first steps that you would suggest as a parent that we can encourage them to do?
Normalize the struggle. So, you know, this is the one thing that I think we need to get communicated, is that failure and struggle are not the opposite of success. It's actually part of the journey. And I know that's not what that student wants to hear when they're getting a C or a D for the first time, but it's really a learning opportunity. We want to normalize that. And then we want to normalize that the follow-up to that is reflecting on it. And then what can I do differently, including how can I utilize resources? And sometimes that reflection process is better served talking to others, talking to our friends in the Learning Center, us in the Writing Center, academic advisors, and so on, because it's an opportunity, really, especially when it's not the end of the semester.
I want to add that it's like middle school all over again, because it's an adjustment, right? First time they are in a class with 250, 300 students, and they are not receiving that individual attention. And that's just one, right? There are other things like they probably don't get reminders from their instructors that a test is coming up, or, you know, they have a lot of free time, and trying to manage that free time and using that free time is one. Also, the test is very different over here, right? Testing is very different. They're doing 3 levels of application. And that in itself is an adjustment. It takes a couple of exams for them to kind of figure out, how do I approach this? How do I approach this concept? So yes, it's adjustment. They're getting stronger through this process, and they all emerge on the other end, you know, smarter and stronger and kinder.
Do either of the centers provide any specialized support for students with accommodations for their courses? What kinds of steps or suggestions do you have for those students?
Our offices, I can speak for Dr. Patterson's office too. We do not, it's disability resources that provide support for accommodations. We do work with students with ADD and ADHD. We are not any experts in that area, but with respect to time management and being accountability partners, we do help with students who have ADD and ADHD.
We do hear from students from time to time saying, hey, look, I have X, Y, or Z, and here are my accommodations. You know, can I meet with someone to talk about how the Writing Center can support me? And we're happy to do that. Sometimes Disability Resources contacts us, but we don't know diagnoses unless the student shares them with us. And really, it's not necessary unless the student feels it's necessary. And in those cases, you know, we work around things. Just as an example, you know, a student with visual impairments contacting us and saying, look, my the online scheduling system that you guys use isn't playing well with my screen reader. What can we do? And we're gonna work around that, and then also see what we can do in terms of making sure that our scheduling system does play well with screen readers. So in specific instances where it's a matter of, okay, there's a barrier to using our service, we're going to see what we can to eliminate that barrier. But in other cases, we may not know at all. And I think it is important to realize, like, we're not experts, but we'll certainly, in different cases, we're communicating with the appropriate people on campus to see what we can absolutely do.
For family members who are joining us at home, we put the information for the disability resources area in our chat. They are great campus partners, and so if you have any questions about helping your student navigate accommodations, they're really the great experts on our campus for that. Is there any group programming offered to students that teaches them about things like how to study or how to navigate time management skills in general, and that is not specific to a course area or a specific course?
Yes, absolutely. The peer coaching program, which is a new program, we've only had it for 3 years, and we started it right before pandemic to support students through remote learning and how to find information on Canvas, and that's where it all started. And now we've got workshops going. We have 4 workshops coming up, and we've also got peer coaches who are upper class students. We have 6 of them. They each have like 2 hours Monday through Thursday. 2-hour drop-in session in the Learning Center. So yes, you can make an appointment or drop in during that time. Either is fine, or contact the peer coach directly and set up a meeting with them. That's fine too.
Shifting gears a little bit, are there student employment opportunities offered by the Writing Center and the Learning Center? How could a student go about getting involved in those things?
Yes. So as I mentioned, some of our tutors are undergraduate peer tutors. In fact, the deadline to apply for this next round is October 21 on our website. So sophomores and juniors are eligible to apply. We go through a selection process, interviews, look at writing samples. Those selected enroll in a training seminar. It's a 3-credit pedagogy seminar that I teach in the spring. And at the end of that, they're eligible to start working in the Writing Center in the next year or 2, all the way until graduation. And that at that point, it's a paid position.
Yes, absolutely. We've got 300. We run because of student leaders, right? We have 300 of them. About 100 of them will graduate. Every year we have 100 students who graduate. So we typically, our spring semester is the hiring semester. So our applications will open in January, and then we are recruiting until May, sometimes even through the summer. Yes, definitely. We pay really well. And once they are in, yeah, they are in. We'd love to have them until they graduate.
Could both of you, shifting gears again, could both of you talk about the expected response time when a student reaches out for help, either at the Learning Center or the Writing Center and Speaking Studio?
Yeah, I can go first. It depends on the time of the year, season, right? If it's the beginning of the semester or right before exams, it's usually, I would say, 24 to 48 hours, because those are the busiest times. And we have a lot of questions. But right about now, 24 hours typically.
Yes, I about the same. And really, because students with the Writing Center can make their own appointments, it's just a matter of getting online, making their appointments. But if they're reaching out to us with a question, or if they want to see if there's last minute availability, if it's Monday through Friday, we're responding the same day. And if it's a weekend email, by Monday morning, we're responding.
So we have a family member who is asking how your areas, your academic support areas, help students who may be experiencing things like imposter syndrome here at WashU.
So this is a favorite subject of mine. I was a first-generation college student at WashU many years ago. And I think part of it is the one-on-one approach that we take. We're having a conversation with someone. We're not just correcting their work, but instead we're asking them questions. We're making positive assumptions that they're capable. And there's a lot of encouragement, confidence building, and really saying back the brilliant things that they're saying so that, you know, they start to see that they have a lot to offer, and they do belong here. And that's the thing is a lot of the research on imposter syndrome and sense of belonging actually show that when students have a felt connection to specific, you know, resources, programs, and so on, whether it's a peer tutor in the writing center, a peer coach in the learning center, all of that helps to slowly like alleviate that imposter syndrome and increase sense of belonging. Jay?
I'm sure Dr. Patterson does this too. We, through our training program, what we coach our leaders and peer mentors to do is talk about their failures a lot, right? Like, you know, when a student says they got their first C, you know, tell them about your experience, you know, and talk them through the process. So we are normalizing challenges for the students. And we are also kind of expanding our recruitment, right? So that our mentor and leader pool is representative of WashU student population, right? We also do diversity and inclusion training with our peer leaders and mentors. So they're culturally competent. They provide feedback to students, you know, with a growth mindset. Yeah, I'm sure Dr. Patterson, you do that too, right?
Yeah, I think one thing that we hear a lot is, why is it that I feel like I'm putting so much time and I'm not getting the results, and everyone around me seems to be doing well and they have time to have fun, enjoy themselves. I don't see people doing that. And the thing is that we'll hear that from so many students. And I think, you know, I like to remind them that they're not seeing that part of other people's lives. We're seeing kind of the Instagram version of other people's lives, right? The public facing, and we're not seeing those moments where every student is having those moments of self-doubt or feeling like, why am I putting so much time into this? It seems like others aren't, and yet, you know, they're succeeding. So I think there's a lot of that, and that's where when our peer mentors and tutors are talking about their own struggles and normalizing that, I think that's really valuable. And that's really what can be so valuable from families as well. Because, you know, it can be a little jarring when, you know, you're hearing about this, and it can be kind of scary that my child, my student is struggling, and to say it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, or why is this happening? It's never happened before. Yeah, but to actually normalize it and even share some of your own times in your life where you were struggling with something. Oftentimes, you know, we just see people's successes, and we're not seeing the stuff that went into it. So that's where I think both peers and families can be very helpful.
Very quickly, Dr. Sriram, are PLTL sessions only offered for first-year students, or is a student who might be a sophomore or a junior who's enrolled in, say, chemistry or physics able to take PLTL?
Anybody can apply.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We have one more question that we're going to ask for the evening. Panelists, thank you so much for the information that you shared tonight. What is one last piece of advice for families of students who have, you know, hit their fall break time, maybe struggling academically in this midpoint in the semester? Like, what kind of advice would you offer for families who are supporting their students through that?
Go ahead, Jay.
You go ahead. You're already on mute.
I don't want to speak first. It's going to be okay. There is nothing that could possibly happen that would somehow destroy the future. Right now, it's just a matter of getting through this semester, getting through these next assignments, finishing these courses. And some of the things that, you know, I think hang people up is that stress, that anxiety gets so high, and then it's, well, I'm not even writing the paper because I know that it has to be perfect to make up for that last paper, or, you know, this exam has to be perfect to make up for that last exam. And really, you know, I tell my own students when I'm teaching classes, a done paper is better than a not done paper. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done sometimes. And sometimes that means a course just has to be done. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be an A. It just has to be done so we can move on. And so, you know, I don't know that we hear that enough. Jay,
Yeah.
please correct me if you think I'm wildly out of pocket.
No, you're absolutely right. There are two additional things I often we often tell our students that we work with. One is, I think they might be super like hyper focused, right? And when they're hyper focused on this little thing, it's anxiety inducing, right? It's overwhelming, it's anxiety inducing. If we can help them kind of expand their focus, right? There's what else is outside of this little thing that they're focused on. Of course, that thing is a big thing for them, but if they can expand, if we can help them expand their focus, that could be really useful, I think. The second thing is, you know, that it's a habit to kind of do little things. You know, you don't have to have 2-hour block of time to get this whole paper done, but like bite size, right? Because in real life, nobody has 2 hours of time to do anything, right? We've got to do it in little bits, in bits and pieces, right? And we often also tell students that, like, when you do that little thing, you get a dopamine hit, right? Which helps you motivate the next time you do a little thing. So focus on that little bit that they could do to get these tiny dopamine hits. Yeah, those two are the things. I think they know what to do. Is just helping them refocus often.
Dr. Sriram, Dr. Patterson, thank you so much again. Families, we hope that you were able to learn some valuable information this evening. As a reminder, this webinar recording will be shared at families.wustl.edu next week. Stay tuned for our next webinar, which will be posted on our website at families.wustl.edu. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.